the body in the snow. The wind howled through the alien mountains, sharp and cold like knives in the air. Snowflakes danced in wild circles as Liam pulled his jacket tighter around his chest. He had been walking for hours, his boots crunching through thick snow, his breath misting in front of him. This trail wasn't marked on any map. It was a place forgotten by time. Liam had come to this planet looking for peace, a quiet place to think, to escape the noise of human cities and their endless problems. He never expected to find anything or anyone out here. But then he saw her. At first he thought it was a statue or maybe some frozen animal, something pale and still, half buried in the snow ahead. But as he stepped closer, his heart stopped. It was a girl, an alien girl. She lay on her side, motionless. Her skin was a soft silver blue, glowing faintly under the snowy sky. Long white hair tangled around her face. Her clothes were torn, thin, not enough to protect her from the freezing cold. Her lips were cracked. Her eyes were closed. She wasn't dead, at least not yet. Liam dropped to his knees beside her. "Hey," he said softly, reaching out. "Can you hear me?" No answer. Her chest moved, barely. Slow, shallow breaths. He looked around. The mountains were empty. No ships. No trails. Nothing but endless snow. "What the hell happened to you?" he whispered. He had no idea who she was. She didn't look like any alien species he'd seen before. And he had seen many. He worked with the Alliance for a while before he walked away from that life. Liam knew he couldn't leave her there. He pulled off his outer coat and wrapped it around her. Then, using all his strength, he lifted her into his arms. She was light, too light, like she hadn't eaten in days. Her head rested against his chest, her skin cold like ice. It took him nearly 2 hours to get back to his small shelter built into a rock cliff. By then, his legs were numb and his hands shaking. But he didn't stop. Not once. Inside the shelter, Liam placed her gently on the bed and started a heat lamp. He rubbed her arms carefully, trying to get some warmth back into her body. Still, she didn't wake. "Come on," he said, watching her face. "Stay alive, whoever you are." As he sat beside her, something shiny caught his eye. Around her neck, hidden beneath her torn clothes, was a small metal chain. Hanging from it was a pendant, glowing softly with a strange symbol. It wasn't human. It wasn't from any known Alliance system either. He touched it. It pulsed, and for a second he felt something. A rush of heat, a whisper in his mind, like an ancient voice trying to speak. He pulled his hand away fast. "What the hell is this?" he said under his breath. The girl moved, just a little. Her fingers twitched. Liam leaned forward. Hey, you awake?" Her eyelids fluttered. She made a small sound, almost like a sigh. Then her lips parted. "Lievren." It wasn't English, but the way she said it, it didn't sound like a name. It sounded like a warning. She went still again. Liam sat back, confused and tense. He had no translator device. He couldn't understand her words, but he understood fear. And this girl had plenty of it written across her face. He sat there for a long time, watching over her. Snowstorm raged outside, but inside, the warmth slowly returned to her body. Just before sunrise, she opened her eyes. They were bright violet, glowing, and sharp, like they had seen more than her young face showed. Liam stood. "You're awake." She looked around the room, confused. Then her eyes locked on his, and she said in a quiet, raspy voice, "Why did you bring me here, human?" Liam froze. She spoke English. "You were dying," he said. "I found you in the snow. You needed help." She looked at the heat lamp, the coat around her, then back at him. "You touched the pendant," she said. He nodded slowly. It lit up. Felt weird. Her face changed. Not fear, not thanks, but dread. Then it's too late, she whispered. They'll come for me now, and they'll come for you too. Liam's eyes narrowed. Who? She leaned back, her breath shaky. The ones who killed my family. The ones who want the throne. Liam blinked. What throne? The alien girl looked straight into his eyes. I am the last heir of the fallen empire, she said, and I just woke up in the arms of a stranger. She's not just a girl. The sun had not fully risen when Liam stepped outside the shelter, the cold air biting at his skin. Snow still covered the mountain trail, hiding the danger beneath its white beauty. The wind whispered like voices trying to speak from the past. Liam had seen storms, creatures, and alien tech, but nothing prepared him for the girl now lying inside. He stared up at the pale sky, his mind heavy. Who was she? A princess? An heir? What did that even mean on a forgotten planet like this? He didn't know. But the way she had looked at him last night. It wasn't just fear. It was warning. Like he had stepped into something far bigger than he could understand. When he came back inside, she was sitting up, wrapped in the blanket he gave her. She stared at the flames from the heater. Her face was calm, but her hands trembled. Liam spoke gently. Do you remember anything else? She turned to him, eyes sharp. I remember too much. He sat across from her. You said people are after you. Not people, she said. Predators. Liam didn't like the sound of that. Then who are you, he asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she pulled the pendant from under her blanket and held it up. This crest, she said, belongs to the royal bloodline of Yarathil. It is encoded to awaken when the last heir is in danger. When you touched it, it bonded to you. Liam frowned. Bonded? What does that mean? It means, she said quietly, you're now marked as my protector. Liam stared at her, unsure if she was serious. You're saying I'm stuck with you? No, she said. I'm saying the Empire will believe you are. He felt the weight of those words. Not just some runaway girl, not a soldier, not even a rebel. Royalty, and the kind that came with enemies. What's your name? He asked. She looked him in the eyes. Yavara. A strange name. Soft yet powerful. I'm Liam, he said. She gave a tiny nod, then looked down. Her body still shook from cold or fear. How did you end up here? He asked. Yavara didn't speak for a long moment. Then her voice broke the silence like a blade. I was supposed to die. Liam leaned forward. What? My ship was shot down by my uncle, she said. He betrayed the crown, took control of the palace. He told the galaxy I was dead, and he left me to freeze here to make it true. Liam felt anger stir in his chest. You're telling me your own family tried to kill you? Yavara nodded. He needed no heir to rise in power, she said. So he erased me, and I would have stayed erased, if not for you. Liam looked at the pendant again, the way it glowed faintly like it was watching him, judging him. Before he could speak, a sudden sharp beep echoed through the shelter. Liam stood up fast. The radar, one he rarely used, was blinking. Ship detected, he said aloud, frowning. Yavara's head snapped toward the sound. They found us, she whispered. Liam moved to the window, his hand on his old plasma rifle. He hadn't fired it in years, not since the last human war zone he escaped. Outside, a sleek black shuttle hovered low above the mountain ledge. It bore no insignia, no alliance mark. Just black metal and quiet engines. Liam turned to Yavara. Do you recognize it? She didn't need to look. Those are my uncle's hunters. They track energy pulses from royal crests. He cursed under his breath. Then we need to run. They won't knock, she said. They'll burn everything down. Liam moved. Fast. He grabbed supplies, weapons, and extra gear. He threw a coat at Yavara. Can you walk? I can fight, she said, standing up. But she swayed, her legs still weak. Liam caught her before she fell. You can fight later. Right now, you survive. Outside, the shuttle door opened. Figures stepped out. They weren't soldiers. They were something else. Tall, smooth armor, red visors. They didn't walk like humans. "What are those things?" Liam asked. Yvara's voice dropped. "Death Seekers." Liam aimed his rifle. "Great name." They slipped out the back entrance, moving across the snowy rocks, avoiding open trails. The wind covered their tracks, but the machines didn't need eyes to follow. They had heat sensors and scent drones. They had only minutes as they reached a narrow ridge. One of the Seekers dropped from the sky, landing ahead of them. Liam raised his rifle, but before he could shoot, Yvara stepped forward and raised her hand. The pendant on her chest lit up. The Seeker paused. Its visor turned blue. Then, it knelt. Liam's eyes widened. "What the—" "It still remembers the true blood," she said. "Not all machines serve my uncle." The Seeker looked up at her and spoke in a voice not made for humans. "Princess Yvara, the throne calls to you." Liam stared at her. "You weren't kidding," he said slowly. "You really are a princess." Yvara turned to him. "And this is only the beginning." The hunters in the storm. The snow began to fall harder. Liam and Yvara stood on the narrow ledge, the cold biting their skin, the wind pushing like invisible hands. Below them, the black-armored Seeker remained kneeling. It had called her princess. It had obeyed her, but they didn't have time to celebrate because more were coming. "How long will it stay loyal?" Liam asked, his rifle still shaking in his hands. Yvara didn't take her eyes off the machine. "As long as it believes I live. So if you fall, it will turn." Liam didn't like that answer, but he liked what came next even less. Another sound filled the air. Low, humming. But this one was heavier, darker. "Another ship," Liam said. Yvara turned slowly. Her violet eyes caught the sky just as a much larger dropship pierced the clouds above them. It looked like a giant black wing with red lights flashing along its edges. "That one doesn't kneel," she whispered. This was no scout ship. This was a hunter transport, and it carried soldiers, not machines. They needed to run. Now, the Seeker rose, looking at Yvara. "Command?" It asked in a metallic voice. "Protect him," she ordered, pointing at Liam. "Until I say otherwise." The Seeker stepped forward without question and followed them as they rushed along the frozen ledge. The wind screamed louder now. A storm was building. A real one. Not just snow, but thunder. Sharp electric winds cracked through the sky above them like a warning from the gods. Liam gritted his teeth. "You're telling me your uncle has an army of these machines?" "Not machines," Yvara said. "Hybrids, half-living, half-forged. Built from our own warriors. Reshaped in the pits of the dead moon." "That sounds friendly." She didn't laugh. They reached a cliff wall with ancient carvings, covered in ice. Yvara moved fast, brushing the snow away until her fingers found a symbol. A spiral sun. She pressed it. The rock shook. Snow tumbled. A small door of stone slid open with a grinding moan. "Inside," she shouted. They entered just as a blast from above shook the ground. The hunter ship had found their trail. Inside the hidden tunnel, darkness swallowed them whole. Liam turned on a small light from his gear. It lit a long passage, narrow but carved with strange alien shapes. "What is this place?" he asked. "A memory," Yvara said. "This was once a temple, before the Empire fell, before I was born." Liam moved beside her, the Seeker following behind without a sound. Its glowing visor lit the wall carvings. Images of tall women with crowns of light holding swords made of stars. One carving showed a throne, not like a chair, but more like a living tree with roots stretching through the mountains. "Is that the throne?" Liam asked. "Yes," she said. "It's not made to sit on. It's made to bind." He frowned. "Bind what?" "The Empire. The world. Its bloodline. It connects everything. Only the royal core can command it. That's why they need me gone." Liam felt the air shift. There was more going on here than he'd ever imagined. He had saved a girl in the snow, but now he was walking through the bones of a forgotten empire. "Why me?" he asked. "Why? Did the pendant choose me? Because you were near, and because you touched it with no greed in your heart." Liam stopped. "That simple? Simple things are rare," she said softly. They reached a chamber deep underground. At its center was a large stone circle, cracked and dark. Yvara stepped forward, placing her hand on it. Nothing happened. "It's broken," Liam said. "No," she said. "It's afraid." Liam looked at her. "Afraid of what?" A voice echoed through the chamber. It wasn't hers and it wasn't his. "Of what's chasing you." The seeker turned its head sharply, its visor flickering. "Incoming breach," it said. 4 hostiles, armed. No mercy protocols detected. Yvara stood tall. "Then we stand." Liam checked his rifle. "We barely escaped last time." "This time," she said. "We fight." Before he could argue, the stone circle beneath them lit up. Blue symbols spinning slowly like a heartbeat. The pendant on her chest pulsed. "It's waking," she whispered. "It feels my blood." From above, footsteps echoed in the tunnel. Not metal ones. Boots. Soldiers. Human soldiers. But they weren't from Earth. As the first one stepped into the light, Liam saw the mark on the soldier's armor, a broken crown. Yvara's. Uncle had sent his own royal guard to finish the job. The first guard raised a plasma blade. "You're supposed to be dead, princess." Yvara didn't blink. "So are you." The seeker jumped forward, its arms snapping open into twin energy. Blades. Liam took aim and fired, and the Temple of Silence turned into a war zone. The throne below the ice. The chamber lit up with fire and screams. Blasts of plasma cracked against the stone walls. Liam ducked behind a pillar, his rifle hot from firing. Next to him, the seeker fought like a storm, its twin blades slicing through air and armor. Sparks flew. Blood followed. Yvara didn't hide. She stood at the center of the circle, her pendant glowing brighter with each second. Her violet eyes were locked on the throne symbol beneath her feet. The soldiers shouted to each other in a rough alien tongue. "Take her alive," one barked. "By the Emperor's order," Liam fired again. "I really hate orders like that." A soldier charged at Yvara, blade raised. She didn't flinch. Her hand shot out, and the throne circle pulsed. A shockwave through the soldier. Across the room, the stone under Yvara's feet began to crack and open. The floor split in a perfect ring. Below it, a deep shaft glowed with golden light. Liam's eyes widened. "What the hell is that?" "The true throne," she said, stepping into the light. "Hidden for generations. You sure we want to go down there right now?" "If we stay here, we die," she said. "If we go down, maybe we change everything." Liam took a breath, grabbed the seeker's arm, and yelled, "Down we go!" They leaped. The light swallowed them whole. They fell through warm air. Wind spun around them, yet it felt still, like the world itself was holding its breath. Then they landed. Softly. The chamber below was massive. A dome of glass-like crystal stretched overhead, showing the ice of the mountain frozen above them. Floating lights hung in the air like stars trapped in water. Strange machines hummed quietly, and at the very center stood a tree of glowing silver roots, twisting into a throne. But it was not empty. It pulsed, like it was alive. Liam stepped forward, stunned. This is ancient tech. Older than the Alliance. Older than Earth's records. Yvara walked toward the throne, her steps slow. Her pendant shined like fire now. Her hair floated around her, as if pulled by some invisible tide. "This was built by the first Empress," she said. "They say her soul still guards it." Liam felt cold. Guards it from what? From the wrong blood. Liam's eyes snapped to her. "Wait, what happens if someone unworthy touches it?" She didn't answer, but she didn't need to, because the seeker stepped forward and the light from the throne slammed it backward. Its armor hissed, its voice glitched. Access denied. Royal imprint mismatch. Liam rushed to its side, helping it up. You okay? The Seeker's visor flickered. This system burns all pretenders. Yvara looked at the throne with fear now. Then I must prove myself. She reached out. Her hand trembled. And the moment her fingers touched the root of the throne, the entire chamber roared to life. Visions exploded in her mind. A city in flames. A child hiding in the dark. A mother screaming. A golden crown shattering. Liam watched her scream and fall to her knees. He ran to her, catching her. Before she hit the ground, what is it? What did you see? Memories, she whispered. Not mine. Hers. The first Empress. Her pain. It's inside this place. Liam felt something hot in his chest. His pendant. When did he even get a pendant? He looked down. The metal from her crest had broken in two. Half had wrapped around his neck without touching him. It pulsed with the same rhythm. The throne responded. It sees you, Yvara whispered. Liam backed away. No, I'm just the guy who carried you through a snowstorm. I'm not meant for thrones. But the throne disagreed. Roots extended from the base, wrapping gently around both of them. A voice echoed. Not male, not female. Something older. Blood, and bond confirmed. Royal link established. The light turned blue, and a new shape formed beside the throne, a sword. Tall, made of starlight and shadow. Yvara reached for it, but the voice returned. Not hers. The sword chooses the shield. Liam stared at it. You've got to be kidding me. Take it, Yvara said. You've earned it. He stepped forward, hand shaking, and grabbed the sword. It felt light, warm, and cold at the same time. Then the voice whispered directly into his mind. He who holds the edge shall stand between crown and chaos. The throne dimmed. The lights faded, and then silence, until, boom, the roof above cracked. Yvara looked up in horror. They followed us. A drill tore through the ice. More troops were coming. Liam raised the sword. Let them come, he said. We're not running anymore. Bloodlines and betrayals. The ice cracked again. This time it wasn't just a noise. It was a warning. A massive drill pod punched through the ceiling of the crystal throne chamber, followed by a thunderous crash. Snow and metal rained down as soldiers poured in. They weren't just guards, they were the Crimson Fangs, the personal enforcers of the Emperor. They didn't speak. They didn't ask questions. They came to kill. Liam stepped in front of Yvara, his glowing sword humming, in his grip. The weapon had no handle, just light. Yet it felt like it had always been his. The first soldier charged. Liam didn't think. The sword moved. Swish. The soldier's blade split in two. Then his armor. Then silence. Liam stood in shock. The sword had moved faster than him. Yvara was already chanting. Her voice echoed with power now. Ancient words that stirred the throne behind them. Energy pulsed from the silver roots and raced up the walls. The chamber was turning into a shield of its own. Don't let them near the core, she shouted. Liam fired his old rifle with one hand while slashing with the sword in the other. The Seeker fought beside them, blades red hot. Every corner of the chamber lit up with fire and sparks. But something was wrong. The throne was shaking, and Yvara's face had turned pale. What is it? Liam yelled, ducking behind a shattered stone. They're not just after me anymore, she said. They're trying to shut the throne down permanently. Liam stared. How? She pointed toward the ceiling, where a large black cube hovered just beneath the opening. Red lights blinked along its sides. That's a nullifier. Bomb, she said. If it touches the throne's roots, it kills the link. All of it. Forever. Liam didn't hesitate. He leaped onto the broken stone and jumped for the cube. Time slowed, his body twisted in midair, sword raised, light flashing across his face. He sliced. Crack. The cube split. But not fast enough. A shockwave burst out. He was thrown backward, crashing against the far wall. His vision went black for a moment. When he opened his eyes, he saw Yvara on the ground, clutching her head. The throne's light had dimmed. The sword had vanished. The Seeker was frozen, its systems disrupted. Liam crawled to her. "Stay with me." She looked up, eyes filled with something new, something broken. "Liam," she said quietly. "There's something I didn't tell you." He frowned. Now's not really a good time for secrets. But she gripped his hand. Hard. "Listen to me," she said. "The man who took the Empire, the one who sent those soldiers, the one who wants me dead." "Your uncle," Liam said. "Yes. But not just him." She looked away. Pain on her face. "He's not my uncle by blood. He's my father." Liam froze. The wind in the chamber felt suddenly colder. "What?" "He lied to the Empire," she said. "He lied to me. My mother. She kept the truth from everyone, but I saw it in the throne's memories. He was her chosen consort, and her executioner." Liam sat back, stunned. "He killed the Empress. And you're the child of both?" Yvara nodded slowly. "That's why the throne burns me. Part of it sees me as blood. The other part sees me as betrayal." Liam looked at the roots. They were flickering, confused, pulsing like a heartbeat that had lost its rhythm. "Then what happens now?" he asked. She stood, her voice shaky but strong. "Now I stop hiding. I stop running. I face him." The chamber doors burst open. New figure walked through, tall, wearing dark robes, his face hidden behind a silver mask shaped like a broken crown. His voice was smooth, too calm for someone walking into a war zone. "Daughter," he said, "you've grown bold." Yvara didn't move. "You don't get to call me that." The masked man walked slowly across the chamber floor, ignoring the dead, the weapons, the sparks still falling from the ceiling. "I gave you life," he said. "You took hers," Yvara replied. He chuckled. "She was weak. You were never meant to sit on the throne. Your blood is chaos, but him—" He turned his gaze to Liam. "He is something new." Liam stood, sword reappearing in his hand. "You're not taking her," he said. The man tilted. His head. "We shall see." Then he raised his hand, and the entire mountain began to tremble. Roots ripped from the floor. The throne shrieked, and from behind him, a shadow formed, a creature of metal and bone. His true weapon. Yvara backed. "Away, what is that?" "The last emperor," the masked man said. "Reborn to serve me." Liam felt the air twist. A storm was coming. Not wind, not snow, a storm of blood and betrayal. And Liam knew one thing. This fight would change everything. The false empire trembles. The chamber felt like it was falling apart. Stone cracked. The air shook. The throne dimmed. The ancient walls, carved by royal hands thousands of years ago, pulsed like a dying heart. Liam stood with the glowing sword in hand. Across from him, the masked man, Yvara's father, walked with the calm of someone who believed nothing could stop him. And behind him stood the monster, not a creature, not a soldier. No, this was something far worse. A fusion of alien metal and the remains of the last emperor, bones encased in steel, eyes glowing, with fire, and a crown carved into its skull like it had been forced there. It was tall, silent. Its breathing hissed through vents in its chest. Liam could barely speak. "You built that from a corpse?" The masked man's voice was steady. "He ruled by strength. Now he serves by force. Even death cannot deny me loyalty." Yvara's voice cut through the air like a blade. "You used him, just like you used me." Her father turned toward her. "You were never meant to rule. You are the result of weakness. Your mother let emotions cloud the bloodline. I fixed it." Liam stepped between them. "No, you broke it." The masked man looked at Liam with sharp eyes behind the silver mask. "You think you matter, human? The throne bonded to you by accident. You are a glitch in destiny." Liam raised his sword, its light blazing. Then let's see what a glitch can do. The monster roared, and the battle began. The floor split open. Lava poured from cracks beneath the throne. Roots of silver and crystal twisted and tried to repair themselves. The throne was reacting, trying to heal, trying to decide who it belonged to. But above all, it was watching. The Bone Emperor moved fast. Too fast for something so large, it charged at Liam, claws like swords, its body covered in ancient armor fused to its bones. Liam dodged the first strike, but the second sent him flying. Yvara screamed his name. The masked man laughed. "Look at your hero fall." Liam coughed, blood on his lips, the sword dimmed in his hand. The air was too hot, his body shook. He wasn't trained for this, but he stood up anyway. "You don't get to win," he said through his teeth. The sword pulsed again, brighter this time. The throne was listening. The monster attacked again. This time Liam met it head-on. The blade met the bone sword. Sparks exploded. He twisted, cut through the creature's side, but it didn't stop. It felt no pain. Yvara rushed toward the throne, trying to reach the core. But her father moved fast. He raised a gauntlet, and red energy shot out, slamming her to the ground. "You were always a disappointment," he said coldly. She gasped. But then she smiled through the pain. "Then why are you afraid of me?" He hesitated. "Just long enough." Liam struck again, cutting deep into the monster's shoulder. It roared, and something broke. A piece of its armor fell off. Inside, Liam saw something glowing. A power cell. Liam yelled, "Yvara, the left side, under the collar." She didn't question him. She rolled, raised both hands, and fired a stream of pure throne energy, light from the ancient core itself. The beam hit the monster's weak point. Boom! The Bone Emperor exploded in fire and shattered metal. Silence followed, but it didn't last. The masked man looked at his fallen weapon. For the first time, his voice wavered. "You ruined everything." He charged at Liam, blade drawn, but Yvara was faster. She reached the throne. The roots wrapped around her. Light filled the chamber, and a voice, ancient and powerful, spoke from the walls. True air recognized, false blood rejected. The masked man stopped mid-step. His body trembled, then screamed. Roots exploded from the ground and wrapped around him. He tried to fight. He tried to burn them, but they clung to him like chains. "You will not be king," the throne said. "You will be forgotten." The mask cracked. His face, part human, part machine, was filled with fear. And then, he was gone. Swallowed by the roots of the very empire he tried to steal. Everything went quiet. The flames died. The lights settled. The throne pulsed gently. Liam dropped the sword. His knees gave out. But soft hands caught him. Yvara held him up. Her eyes no longer just violet, but glowing gold. "You're safe," she whispered. He smiled weakly. "Next time, maybe tell me before your throne tries to kill me." She laughed. For the first time it was real, I promise. They stood together in front of the throne, and slowly, the empire woke. A throne claimed by fire. The chamber was silent now. Ash floated through the air like snow. The throne stood tall in the center, its roots glowing softly, its silver branches slowly curling upward, as if stretching after centuries of sleep. Yvara knelt beside it, her hand still pressed to the living crystal. Her eyes were half closed, her face calm, but inside her mind a storm was raging. Visions flashed, a dying empress whispering to her baby daughter, a hidden plan carved into bloodlines, a bond reaching across time and species, linking Yvara and Liam outside the throne chamber. The mountains trembled again, but this time it wasn't war, it was awakening. The ancient systems buried beneath the ice were powering up. Beacons lit up across the valleys. Sky runes glowed. Long-dead satellites blinked on for the first time in generations. The empire was not just returning, it was rising. Liam stood quietly by the edge of the chamber. His body still ached. His wounds were deep. But the throne's energy had healed some of the worst damage. The sword had vanished again, returning to its hidden form, waiting for a new call. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. He just watched her. She looked like fire wrapped in ice, glowing with power but sitting so still, like she was afraid to move too fast and break something ancient. Finally, Yvara opened her eyes. They weren't violet anymore. They were golden and burning. Liam stepped closer. "You okay?" She looked up at him. "I remember everything now," she said softly. "Every lie, every war, every soul who died because my family refused to change." He nodded. "So, what will you do?" She stood slowly, her hands glowing. The throne behind her pulsed like it breathed with her. "I won't rule like them," she said. "I won't be just a queen, I'll be a reckoning." Liam gave a weak smile. "That sounds a little scary." "Good," she said. "They should be afraid." But her next words were quieter. "I can't do it alone." He looked confused. "You have the throne. The armies will follow. What do you need me for?" She stepped close to him. "Because the throne chose both of us. I saw it. It didn't just wake for royal blood. It woke for loyalty. For sacrifice. For Usionyu." Liam shook his head. "I'm just a wanderer. A broken ex-soldier with no flag." "You're more than that," she said. "You're the reason I'm alive." He looked down, unsure. "Do you really want me standing beside a queen?" "No," she said. He looked up, startled. "Not beside a queen," she whispered. "Beside me. Not because of a title. Because of us." His chest tightened. For once, in his life, someone didn't see him as a weapon or a mistake or a tool to be used. She saw him, just as he was. He reached out and took her hand. "Then let's build something better." 3 days later, the Empire's hidden city, Aranthiel, once thought lost beneath the frost, now floated above the mountains on ancient engines of light. Ships circled the skies. Refugees returned from hiding. Broken cities blinked with hope. And in the great plaza before the throne tower, thousands gathered to witness the first royal crowning in centuries. But it was unlike any before. No golden crown was placed. Instead, Yvara stepped forward in simple armor, cloak dragging behind her like wind. Liam stood beside her, not behind. And when she raised her hand, she didn't speak in royal tongue. She spoke plainly. "To everyone, the past has fallen. I will not rebuild it." The crowd held their breath. "We will rise, not as slaves of bloodlines, but as voices that matter." Then she turned to Liam. "And I will not rule alone." He stepped forward. She took his hand, and the throne, visible from above, lit up in the shape of a great tree, its branches forming a glowing crown in the sky. The people cheered, ships fired lights into the clouds, and across the galaxy, far from this mountain world, leaders and tyrants saw the signal, and they trembled, because a new empress had claimed the throne, not by birthright, but by fire, and by love.